how it would be to become the fastest player on the floor, and for whatever your defender will try to apply against you, you will always have an answer, and you will be able to pass by him most explosively. In this video, we will reveal all about the drop footwork, and through 10 exercises we will show you all the details you need to know on how to train it, so in only 10 days, as you'll walk onto the court, no one will stand in front of you anymore. Stay close, we start right away. We are Mihai Dumitrescu, IPT Certified Skill Enhancement Trainer, highest level professional team coach, and Peter Peric first-tier international professional player in Croatia, Germany, and Slovakia, and if you truly want to master the art of basketball, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, so you can keep learning how to become unstoppable. We classify the drop footwork as being the most explosive move you can use in basketball, because by splitting the legs in a staggered stance, and where your entire space is preserved, you access all the levers you'll need to propel you ahead with all your power. As a simple definition, the drop is the ability to split your feet in an open staggered stance, while you bring the ball to your pocket. One foot goes backward, and the one on the ball side goes forward. We need to clarify from the beginning that the back foot should be pointed slightly with the toes towards the outside, so the contact surface will be on the inner part, and the front foot should be always pointed forward. Also, keep in mind that the weight should be distributed mostly on the front leg, but not entirely, as you'll need to push also from behind. A 70-30 ratio will be perfect. The very first exercise you will need to start with is the simple drop, which is not a hard move to do, but if you respect all the details behind it, can become, at least, awkward at the beginning. For the drop you need to use the footwork mat. It is a must, and it cannot be developed adequately without it. The mat will force you to split the legs completely and to be aware of how to place them. If you don't have one, and you cannot buy it, make some marks on the floor to learn it correctly. So, you will need to start by standing in the middle of your space, which is represented by the mat, in a neutral stance. Start dribbling the ball for how many times you want before, and split your legs into a drop looking to hit the spots specially designed on the mat, or the ones you draw on the floor. At the same time, pocket the ball, without placing the hand underneath. More about the pocket, and how to develop it at the NBA level, you can watch in the video up here. Drive, shoot, or finish how you want. Just go for 20 minutes at least, 10 for each side. For the next one, we will use a small med ball to rest the knee on. We chose it, as it is soft enough to protect the skin, but if you have any other ideas, feel free to try. The only thing is to be low enough to force you to bring the knee as close to the floor as you can. This exercise is meant to create the strength you'll need to get down, lower than your adversary, each time when you drop. Also, it is meant to form the neural pathway to play the game from this new stance, which is very unusual until you'll adapt to it. Place your back foot knee on the med mal, and your front foot on the upper corner of the mat. Dribble the ball in front of your body, and when you are ready, pocket it, and move forward. It will be hard, as it is very similar to a lunge, and doing it over and over again will put a lot of pressure on your legs. But you will force your brain to upregulate your muscles, so in a few days, you will feel perfect doing it. This you should do for 30 minutes on each side, so 60 in total, which can be a lot. That is why you can do it with or without finishing, totally up to you. As you now gain the form and the strengths needed to execute an accurate drop, for our next progression we'll place a cone in the middle of the mat, or, if you don't use one, in between your legs, and underneath your hips. The whole idea is that when you pass any defender you must try to use your back foot to go by him, in a straight line, and not go too far laterally, as in the case of a classical cross step. The problem is, that if you don't use a constraint, as the cone is in our case, you will not succeed to repeat this action accurately. Instead, the cone will force you to step near it and to go in a straight line, which will soon become familiar to you. 20 minutes at least, shoot or drive, and focus on the details. It is time to add A between the legs to our beautiful drop. So, in a real situation, if the defender somehow closes your driving lane, you can always exchange hands and attack on the opposite side. Going between the legs offers excellent ball protection during the hand exchange, as the ball is shielded by the body. To do it by respecting the perfect timing, as you drop the ball in the pocket, you need to step partially with the back foot, not longer than the mat edge, or if you can measure somehow else, by your space. As you do that, dribble the ball between your legs, and continue your drive, or whatever you have in mind from there. The most important detail here is the length of the partial step. If it is too long you will be unbalanced, and if it is too short you will end with poor timing. 20 minutes as well for this one, 10 minutes on each side. Let's move forward, and test your ability to drop through the legs continuously, while you can keep the ball in a floating position. Here is how to do it. Start in a neutral position in the middle of your space, the mat for us, and execute a drop with a pocket partial step through the legs. As the ball comes to the opposite pocket, let it float while you bring your feet to the initial position with small steps on the toes, which we call toe replacement. No extra dribble is allowed, so the last dribble between your legs should be strong enough. As you reset, cross over the ball and start the next rep straight away. Go for 10 minutes on each side, so 20 minutes at least. As you've finished, adding an extra 20 minutes to go continuous from side to side. This one will really test your ability to manipulate the ball, and your overall footwork. Don't forget, no extra dribble in between, only one dribble before the drop, and one between the legs. You are now ready for what is next. We will work on your drop cross, the signature move that made famous Allen Iverson. We've placed it as a difficulty level above the drop through because your body must fall very close to the floor, so the ball can still be exchanged safely in front of a steal attempt. There is a particularity to do it right, and it is about the partial step with the back leg timing. As you drop in pocket and you start the crossover, calibrate your partial step a fraction of a second after it, otherwise, it will hit your foot, and instead of a great move, you will get a big problem. Go as usual, for 20 minutes, on each side, no matter the way you finish. It is time to introduce a new concept, which is called foot replacement. This is the act of bringing both feet at the same time, underneath the hips, in a single move. It is usually used as shooting footwork, but today we will use only half of it with the drop cross. So the single foot replacement is the step under the hips with only one leg, and it will replace the partial step we've done earlier. After the drop and pocket, and as the ball is crossed, bring your back leg under your body, in the middle of the mat, or space. Now, there is not important the step timing, as the foot will not interfere with the ball trajectory. The single foot replacement brings a better balance and allows you to move in whatever direction you want to go. Again, do it for 20 minutes, and finish as you may. Sometimes you will not have enough space to execute a drop, as maybe you'll be too close to your opponent, or he will stick aggressively on you. It is time to access your open drop pivots. The open drop is the act of splitting the legs laterally to allow your body to fall into a low stance. But if the space is limited, you can move laterally only one foot, and this is the open drop pivot. Of course, to be a genuine drop, it should always be coupled with a pocket dribbling, so don't forget to do it. Another particularity of the open drop pivot is that the foot that moves towards the side is the one opposed to the ball. We've used the footwork mat, and we've placed 2 cones on the back spots, so Pero will be aware not to step back too far. Do it for 20 minutes, and finish as you like. For the next one, we move the cones behind the mat, as the starting position will be on the lower edge of our space. We still execute an open drop pivot, but as the ball floats to the pocket we add a partial step, not longer than the mat's front edge, so the ball can be exchanged between the legs. This is the open drop pivot through, a classy move, that can be used as the defender gives you a little bit of space after the initial open drop pivot. The hardest thing here is to coordinate your steps, and not to move the dribbling foot only after you've exchanged the ball on the opposite side. You will get in a matter of minutes, if you followed our process, and you are at this point. 20 minutes, and don't forget to fully control what you do. Our last exercise looks the easiest, but it is not so easy to apply in a real situation. It is great to be used, as you notice an empty gap in front, and you want to move fast, and explosive. Those being said, you need to drop the back foot in a straight line to fall in a skinny drop. We call this one a drop pivot, as you'll use the front leg as the pivot, and it is the best stance from where you can sprint straight. Remember, not to move your front leg, until it's the time. To bring this move to its actual use, don't do it slowly, challenge yourself to step back, pocket, and go, as fast as you can, same as you've noticed an empty spot that is available for a split second, and you want to get there first. 10 minutes on each side, and finish how you like. There have been 10 days since the beginning of this challenge, and I believe that if you got here, everything changed for you. You, now, play the game at a lower level, so low is your new regular, your ability to attack increased considerably, and you've become so explosive that no one can guard you. And this is only due to the technique you've gained. Now, add strength and power in the gym, and imagine where you'll be in 1 year. I can imagine that. Can you? Well, we are at the end of this video, so we ask you to give those a try, and let us know how it went for you. If you have any trouble or question, let us know through a comment, so we can get back with a good answer for you. Also, you may want to check those videos up here too, as we believe that you will love them. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and we remind you to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't done it yet, set your notifications on, so you'll not lose anything in the future.